Hello Guyanese citizens. In this video, OGGN wants to discuss costs and expenses that Guyana has been incurring since oil production started and will continue over the coming decades. December 20, 2020 marked the first anniversary of oil production in Guyana. For this year, Guyana has earned revenues estimated at $267.7 million according to Government of Guyana statistics. But Guyana has already incurred expenses of at least $18.5 billion that will need to be paid off. Hence, the $267.7 million is minuscule given our debts. To put this $18.5 billion debt in perspective, the total amount of money needed for government spending for Guyana to operate, such as paying teachers' salaries and paving the roads, is less than $2 billion a year. Stated another way, each of the 780,000 people living in Guyana would each owe $23,700 expenses. This is astronomical amount. If we assume a family size of 4, that would mean each family would owe about $95,000, but the average Guyanese only earns about $4,000 a year. That is, each Guyanese family owes 23 times more than they earn in a year. Guyana has approved 3 oil wells in the Stabroek block to date: Liza 1, Liza 2, and Payara. These wells have 2 major types of costs: capital costs and operating costs. Capital costs are those that were incurred to build the floating production storage and offline platforms, FPSOs, such as the Liza Destiny and Liza Unity ships, from which oil can be pumped up from the ocean floor. Operating costs include all those related costs incurred when the oil company's employees operate equipment on the FPSOs to bring up the oil from Guyana's seabed, separating the water and other impurities from the oil as it is pumped into the FPSOs, drilling, surveying, transportation, lease costs, maintenance costs, and environmental costs and closure, post-closure and disposal costs in the closure stage when wells are being decommissioned. The only well in production as of January 2021 is the Liza 1. So that is the only well where we have incurred operating costs to date. The capital cost of Liza 1 is estimated at $3.5 billion. The capital cost projections for Liza 2 is about $6 billion and Payara is $9 billion. That amount to an estimated total of $18.5 billion in capital cost for 3 offshore projects. But there is at least 50 more wells to be approved in the Stabroek block. If we use the average of the first 3 wells to estimate how much we would owe for the 18 wells, the grand total amount would be approximately $101 billion. That's more money than all Guyanese living in Guyana combined have earned since Guyana gained independence in 1966. Well, while investors have spent their fund up front for exploration and development, all the costs and expenses will be paid back by Guyana from the sale of oil, and investor profits will be huge given their very lucrative contracts. Even before the capital cost, there were other pre-contract costs estimated at $460 million incurred for the Stabroek oil block. Those include exploration expenses going all the way back to 1999, including costs of drilling wells and analyzing the cost to see if oil exists. There have been serious questions raised whether those expenses were accurate. The government of Guyana engaged in foreign firm in December 2019 to audit those expenses, but this is still not completed. It would be in the best interest of Guyanese people to audit Liza 1 thoroughly because the initial capital cost was estimated at 4.4 billion US dollars by the oil companies, then reduced by 700 million US dollars when prominent Guyanese activists questioned the figure. Then the figure was reduced again to its final amount of 3.5 billion US dollars. When Guyana earned only 267.7 million US dollars on our oil last year, the oil companies and their partners earned significantly more. This is because approximately 74 barrels out of each 100 barrels is allocated to the oil companies to pay their capital and operating expenses. While these are expenses charged to Guyana, the big part of that are actually salaries for the oil companies and their partners. What this means is last year, the oil companies, employees, and their partners gained at least 1 billion US dollars from pumping our oil, while Guyana only earned about 267.7 million US dollars. Guyanese, the information provided here on cost and expenses should cause everyone to reflect on the fairness of the contracts we have with our oil companies, especially when our oil companies are getting almost 5 times the revenue of what Guyana gets. It is always the expectation that a country should get the biggest share of profits and benefits from its resources, and oil companies should get a fair share on their investments. Government leaders need to ensure there are stronger regulatory frameworks and capacity building to audit the oil cost being submitted by the oil companies, as it involves huge expense accounts. Inadequate and insufficient auditing may result in Guyana losing tens of millions of dollars annually.